The saturation slider in Lightroom is a very useful slider, but if used incorrectly, can completely ruin an image and make your photo look totally unrealistic by adding in too much color. So here are 3 alternative tools in Lightroom to get far better colors in your photos instead of just relying on the saturation slider. And I'm gonna start right now. Now I'm going to be talking about 3 different tools in this video, starting from the simplest, so a single slider, all the way to tools that are a lot more complicated but give you a lot more customization over your colors in your photo. So the first tool is use the vibrance slider instead of the saturation slider. Now these tools might sound really similar. Well, what's the difference between vibrance and saturation? Well, saturation controls all colors globally in your photo. So colors found in the highlights, shadows, midtones, whites and blacks. Whereas the vibrance slider will only affect the colors in the midtones. So it will leave the colors alone in the far ends of your exposure, which means the saturation slider is a lot more powerful of a slider. But because it's more powerful, slight changes will mean that your photo can go from realistic to unrealistic very quickly. Where you've got a lot more control, I think, over the colors when using vibrance, and it can make your photos look a lot more realistic without it making it look too overpowering. So take this photo as an example. It's a photo I've taken in Bryce Canyon. If we open up the basics panel, we've got our vibrance and saturation found right at the bottom. Now, if we go with saturation and increase it to, let's say, 40%, already, this is just way too much color. If we go down to the bottom, we can see those hoodoos, which are these little rock formations here, just look way too powerful. And if we look at the sun, well, that just, again, looks unrealistic. And it's really telling when we look at the sky. The sky just does not look that blue, especially at sunrise. So instead, we'll go ahead and turn off saturation. Let's go ahead and do it to vibrance to the same amount. Let's do it to 40%. Go all the way up to 40%. Well, it does still look realistic. That's what I really like. It's boosted the colors in the background here. So you can see the green, it's subtly boosted some of those hoodoos here. You can see we've got some of that red tones there without it looking too overpowering. And you can really see that in the sky. So for example, if I do the difference between saturation, if we look at the mid-tone section here, so this is very bright section here, it's adding in color. Where if we would do it with vibrance, it's not really affecting it. You can go almost all the way up to 80, 90%, and that's when it starts looking unrealistic. So if you just want a slight pop of color, but the saturation slider just isn't working for you, it's just adding in too much color, I would use the vibrance slider instead. You get a lot more realistic results, I think. Okay, so the second tool is the color mixer tool. Now, what I really like about the color mixer tool is it allows us to control the anatomy of our colors. Now, anatomy is basically the color itself, so that's the hue, the saturation, which is the intensity or the amount of color, as well as the luminance. But what's really nice, instead of it just being one single slider to control all of the saturation, it's broken up into 8 color bands, covering roughly 45 degrees of the color wheel. So to get to that, what you'll need to do is go down to your color mixer tool you can see here. And as you can see, we've got our hue, we've got our saturation, and we've got our luminance. And I've already made a few changes to saturation to really bring out the colors in this photo. Now let's say I want to boost the greens in the background. I really want to make them slightly brighter. Well, I can go to my green slider here and simply go ahead and increase it, and you can do the same with yellow. But what if you're a bit confused of what color you actually want to select? Well, luckily, there's a color picker tool for that. All you need to do is go to this little circle that you can see opposite where it says saturation, or just next to it. Go ahead, hover over your photo with the area that you want to increase or decrease saturation, click, and then drag up to increase it and drag down to decrease it. And you can see it's automatically moving those sliders for me. So you can see if I want to increase saturation of the green in the background, it's actually affecting the yellow and green slider. And we can even do the same with skin tones. I might want to increase the saturation of the skin tones here. Now, the reason I like the color mixer tool for saturation changes versus the saturation slider is we've got full control over these color bands. If we want to increase saturation in the blue, for example, without affecting any other color, we can do that. Where you can't do that if we did that in the simple basics panel using the saturation slider. So if you do want more control, I would use the saturations actually found inside the color mixer tool, because you've got 8 to choose from. Instead of just one slider, which is like editing with a hammer versus a scalpel. You've got so much more control with the color mixer tool. But if you really want control, then the third tool is probably going to be your best bet, and that is point color. Now, point color is very similar to the color mixer tool. In fact, it's quite a new tool found inside Lightroom. It's only a couple years old. But you have got control over it because you've got control not just over the color that you're changing, but the color you're selecting as well. So take this photo here as an example. We've got a real bright red dress, so it's gonna be really easy to select. The problem is, if we change the red saturation, it's also going to affect the skin tones as well. Because if we zoom in, we've got the red lips here, we've also got some slight orangey magenta nails. It's gonna be all impacted. So what can we do? Well, the red of the dress is a very specific red, so we can actually select it. Now, we're not gonna be able to do it in the actual color mixer tool, so what we're gonna do is head over to the tool next to it called point color. Now, as you can see, everything's grayed out at the moment. That's because we need to actually select a color. So activate it, simply click that eyedropper tool, go ahead and select the red of the dress or the color of your choice, and go ahead and select. Once you've selected it up, all of this will open up. Now, it's split up into two sections. Up here, you've got your shift settings. You've got your hue, saturation, luminance, and you've also got your variance shift. But underneath, you've got your range sliders as well. So this is where we can really refine what we want to change. And that's what makes this different versus other tools inside Lightroom. With the color mixer tool, you've got 8 color bands, but you're not in control of those color bands. Whereas with this tool, you've got complete control over what you're actually selecting. Now you can see what you're selecting by clicking the Visualize Range tool. So you can see what we've actually selected. Every other color will turn black and white apart from the color that you've selected. So for example, I haven't selected the kind of shadow section of the dress. So I can go to my luminance range here and increase that. So I might increase it a little bit further. As well as you've got a saturation range as well. So I might increase that a little bit. And then with the actual range shift here of your hue, you can move that as well. So I'm probably go for something like so. Then once you're happy with that selection, you can now go ahead and change the saturation. So I actually might bring the saturation down in this photo simply by a small amount, because I do think the red of the dress is a bit bright. But you've also got this variance slider as well, which is actually brand new to Lightroom as of last year. I think it came out in November. And what it does is it actually basically flattens out colors or adds in more variance depending on which way you slide it. Basically, it just controls how much variance in that color that you've selected. So if you slide it over to the right, you're adding in more variance. So you're actually breaking that color apart. And what that does is it actually adds in this really nice subtle look that I really like with this photo. It adds in a real nice amount of contrast. Of course, you can also slide it negatively as well. And what that'll do is it'll flatten it out, making the photo look a little bit more silky. It softens out those highlights and doesn't make it look as dramatic. I actually like looking both ways. If I go far to the right and far to the left, you can see how it impacts that photo. So I'm probably gonna go for around about 30 in this example. So as you can see, it actually looks really nice. But what happens if you don't want it to select the rest of the photo? For example, I do think it's still targeting those skin tones. Well, actually, point color is unique to Lightroom, where it's one of the very few tools that you can use with inside a mask. And that makes it one of the most useful color grading tools, I think, inside Lightroom. Go ahead and turn that off. If I go into my masks, I can create a mask of the dress. So for example, I'm gonna go ahead and go all the way down to person 1. It's detecting that object. And then if I go ahead and select clothes, you can see it's selected that dress. It's done an okay job. I'd probably go in and refine it slightly further. But if I go ahead and create a new mask, if I go down, you can see I've actually got point color as a selection. So then if I go ahead and select the red of the dress, I know it's not going to impact anything else. And you can't do this with the color grading panel, and you can't do this with the color mixer tool. So point color is a very useful and a very precise tool for editing saturation instead of just using the saturation slider. I can completely remove saturation. I might remove it down to -10, might increase the variance there as well. Maybe I might shift it to make it look a little bit more magenta. And as you can see, it hasn't affected the rest of the photo. So this is a very powerful tool. Instead of just using the saturation slider, which again might affect everything else, the point color tool inside the masking panel is probably the best way to do it. Thank you to all of my YouTube members that are currently supporting the channel. If you guys want to support the channel and get some awesome perks, including free Lightroom presets, and I add those presets every single month, make sure to go ahead to the link in the description. I've been James for Photo Fever, and I'll catch you guys next week.